In today's video, I'm going to show you 15 exercises to increase your turnouts that you should know, but a lot of dancers don't. Before we begin, we're going to do 2 tests to check our natural turnout. Start with your feet in parallel, and you're going to rotate your legs out to first position, rotating from the hip socket. Check first that your alignment is straight. We don't want to be tucking the pelvis, nor do we want to be arching the back. You want to make a nice long line going from your heels all the way up to the top of your head. Then, keeping this position, we're going to bring our feet to parallel, lift up our toes, and from the hip socket, rotate to first position without twisting the ankles or the knees. Check you're not pushing back on your hips as you do this. So hips stay really still, you lift your toes up, rotate and place the toes down. By natural turnout, I just mean where your natural rotation is without sacrificing alignment or placement. And this exercise checks your active, functional turnout. Correct alignment is crucial to avoid injury. Next, we're going to check our passive hip flexibility or range. So this shows how much passive range the hip socket and surrounding soft tissue allow. You're going to sit with your back against a wall, soles of the feet together, and this is your butterfly stretch. Keep an eye on how low your knees fall without forcing them down. This might be different for each dancer, but what I find particularly interesting about this stretch is it will show you if one hip has more flexibility than the other. For me, for example, my left hip has less range, so I put extra focus on stretching that side. If you're particularly flexible and this isn't enough, then a more advanced version is to lift your heels up with your toes still on the ground. As you can see, not only is my left knee higher, which means I lack that flexibility, but also my left ankle is closer to the ground, which means I lack the rotation compared to my right side. But they also serve as a reminder that asymmetry is natural, and whilst we can usually increase our strength and our flexibility to a certain extent, we can't change our skeleton. For our first exercise, we're going to use a TheraBand, folded in half, and then you're going to tie a knot so that you're left with a small loop at the end. Make sure the knot is secure enough so that it won't slip, but also not so tight that you can't undo it. You're going to place this loop through both of your feet. You might want to sit down whilst you're doing this. And then you're going to separate the legs so they're hip width apart, and you should feel the resistance of the band. From here, you're going to lift your knee up so it's in parallel, open it to the side, bring it back, and lower the foot back down. We're going to repeat 8 times. You might want to place your hand on your hip to check there's no hitching or twisting, and we're checking in with our alignment. So this is strengthening our hip flexor, but we're also working our hip rotation. And it's a really nice way to warm up the hips as it's relatively gentle. This can also be done without the band if you feel like the resistance is too much. And of course, if you feel any discomfort in any of these exercises, you must stop immediately. When you're working from a pre-recorded video and you're not with a teacher, it's even more important that you listen to your body as there's no one else there guiding you. And last one. Now we're going to take our feet to a first position, but with a gap between the heels because we still want that resistance in the band. If you bring your heels too close together, you'll notice that the band slacks. Quickly check your alignment before we begin. Leading with your heel, you're going to lift your leg to an attitude to the front, carry the attitude to the side, to the back, then stretch your knee as you brush through first position, again leading with the heel. We're going to do 4 of these en dehors, so that means going outwards, taking your leg from the front to the side to the back and then up the center. And then we're going to reverse this en dedans. As you do your attitude, press your knee back and your heel forward whilst keeping your pelvis still. So now we're really getting the glutes involved as well as working our hip rotators. This is a great strengthening exercise and it's going to help you with your active turnout. So anytime you're doing an exercise where you actively need to hold a rotation, like in an adage, for example. And now let's switch over to the other leg. If you feel that one side is noticeably weaker, you might want to increase the number of reps you do on this side. None of these exercises should be forced. You can change the number of reps to suit your body, and you can rest or stop at any time. These exercises are not designed to all be done in one go, but more to be used like a pick and mix. You pick your favorites and you add them to your routine, however you feel is suitable. And last one, now taking the legs to a wide first position, and we'll look at our attitude exercise. And relax. For our third exercise, we're going to begin on the floor. Duck socks are optional. You're going to make sure that your hip bones are touching the floor, so you can either press your hip down with your hand or just have your hand supporting you. One leg is tucked away and the other leg is stretched with a flex foot. You're going to turn your toes inwards and then rotate your leg outwards. So we're really working the rotation of the hip in the hip socket, keeping the pelvis as still as possible and your hip bones touching the ground. We're going to do 8 of these in total. Try to keep your knees stretched and your spine nice and long. This also serves as a great warm-up for the hips. And now swap over to the other leg. So check your alignment first, hips are level, sit bones are down, and we rotate in and then back out. And last one. Now you're going to sit with your legs parallel, knees bent, arms to your side. From here we're going to open one knee out like a clam, lift that leg off the floor and then alternate to the other side. So as you rotate your leg a bit like a clam, keep the rotation of the leg as you hover it off the ground. Make sure you're not sickling the foot, so we're really lifting from the hip rotators and the glutes. And last one. Moving on to all fours, check that your hands are below your shoulders. You're going to extend one leg to the side and we're going to do the same thing, rotating the leg inwards and then back out. I'm going to do 4 of these with my spine in neutral position, and then a more advanced option is to add a gentle cat-cow here. So as the leg rotates in, you're going for the cow, stretching between the shoulder blades. As you rotate out, see if you can lift your nose. This is a much harder option, so you may want to start with the first version until you feel comfortable to progress. And now swapping over to the other side. Keep your neck long, your hands below your shoulders. The rotation must come from the hip socket, so we're trying to avoid moving the pelvis too much. Now moving on to our next exercise, this is a lot harder. We're going to begin with the leg out to the side, foot flexed, we rotate, then we're going to lift a la seconde up to arabesque and back down before we repeat again. We're going to do 8 of these in total. You might notice I start to shake towards the last few. This is a very challenging exercise, but it's wonderful if you're looking to improve the strength and control of your turnout during slow extensions like adage, for example. And now swapping over to the other side. First check your alignment and then off we go. Moving on now to our 7th exercise. We're going to use our TheraBand again, loop it around one knee, and then your hand is going to hold down the ends. You can also tie your TheraBand to something secure like a ballet bar or a chair, as long as it's not going to move. With your knees bent and parallel, pull your shoulder blades down your back and check that your spine is in a neutral position. We're then going to open our knee out to a butterfly position. This should be relatively easy. But then as you close, we're going to pull against the resistance of the band. Your other hand can be on your hip bone, so you check that you're not rocking the pelvis. We're going to do 8 of these in total. So now we're working on adduction. Adduction is when we bring the leg inwards. Abduction is when we open the leg outwards. Both are really important when we're actively using our turnout. Like I said, if holding the band is too sore or tiring on your arm, feel free to tie the band to something secure instead, as long as you're pulling against resistance when you close the knee. Now swapping over to the other leg. A gentler version of this is done without the band, opening and closing the knee like a book, but checking that your pelvis is still. And last one. Moving on to our 8th exercise. Lying on the floor with your hands on your hips, both legs extended and rotated. You're going to take your first leg up to the ceiling, Carry it out to the side in a la seconde, keeping your turnout, and then lower back down. The whole time you're trying to keep your pelvis very still, so when we open to the side, we're not letting our hips rock. A more advanced version of this is with a resistance band above the knees. This makes it a lot more challenging. A TheraBand also works for this too. As you can see, this will help movements like battements to the front, extensions out to the side, or any kind of rond de jambe. I'm going to do 4 going en dehors, and then I'm going to reverse this going en dedans, keeping the rotation of the leg the whole time. Doing this exercise lying down means that we can really focus our attention on what the hips are doing. Completely up to you if you want to do this with or without a resistance band. For our next exercise, we're going to take the leg up to the ceiling. Flex the foot, open the knee as we press to an attitude. Carry the leg to the side without the hips rocking, and then lift the toes back up to the ceiling. Pressing your attitude against the resistance band is going to make this a lot harder. With each attitude press, try and rotate the leg a little bit more each time. So that's your heel coming forward and knee pushing back. And last one, hug your knees and give your hips a rest. Now let's repeat everything on the other side. The focus is all about control, by keeping the pelvis as still as possible. Your leg does not need to be going at the same height as mine. It can be lower, it can be bigger, whatever suits your body, but your main focus is making this movement as smooth and controlled as possible, without moving the pelvis. And now going into our attitude press, open a la seconde and all the way back to the front. Stretch out your legs and relax. Moving on now to our 10th exercise. We're going to lie on our side with our arm under our head, our other arm in front of our rib cage for support, hips stacked. We're going to separate the legs. We're going to hover both legs off the ground, and from a second position we're going to rotate them out and in. Placing a TheraBand above the knees is going to make this a bit harder. I love this one because not only is this a great exercise for the hip rotators, but I really feel it in the glutes too. We're going to do 10 in total. Your legs want to be slightly further forwards so that we're really using our core and we're not taking any of this in the lower back. Now moving on to one of my favorites. Your legs are still hovering off the ground, but they're both parallel, and then the top leg is going to open to an attitude before stretching back to parallel. This one really targets the glutes. It's such a great workout. You might want to tap them out afterwards. I'm going to do 8, but you can do more or fewer as you wish. And now swapping over to the other side. Checking that your hips are stacked, your neck is long, and keep checking in with your breathing throughout. As you rotate the legs, you're going to exhale. As you relax to parallel, inhale. Is your core engaged? Is your spine long? And last one, relax. Moving on to our 12th exercise. Starting by sitting up, hands behind your back, legs stretched in front of you. We're going to use a block. We're going to lift our leg up and over the block and then back to where it was. This really targets the hip flexors. Depending on how advanced you are, you can move the block further out to the side, and this will make it a lot more challenging. Your goal is to keep your hip bones facing forwards the whole time, so we're truly rotating from the hip socket. Try to keep your back tall and your neck long. And finally, if you're really advanced, you can move it even further out. And as you can see, I find this one really challenging. I'm just going to do 2 of each so you have an idea of how the exercise works. It's up to you how many you do, but if you've been doing the previous hip flexor exercises, you may not want to do this one as well, as that's quite a lot for the hip flexors in one go. Now moving into our 90-90 stretch, you've got one leg bent at the front and one leg in an attitude back. Your front leg is tucked in and you're going to put your weight onto your forearms. From here, we're going to lift the back leg in attitude. This one is quite challenging and it really targets the glutes. This exercise is great for when we have to hold a turned out position to the back, for example, an attitude arabesque. Don't worry if the knee doesn't lift up yet. Put your focus into your glutes, your rotators, and onto the knee lifting, not the foot. If we lift the foot, this means we've lost our rotation and our leg is slowly turning inwards. So we have to lift from the knee. Your 90-90 stretch is also a really nice way to just stretch out the hips. And now swapping over to the other side. Neck is long, shoulders are down, core is engaged, and we're lifting the back knee off the ground. And last one, relax. Moving on now to our front with your hands under your forehead. We're going to put our legs into our frog position. So that's knees opened out, heels touching. Check that your hips aren't lifting off the ground. And we're going to press our heels down to the ground, keeping the hips down, and then relax. So again, we're actively stretching the hips here. This is not passive, we're not relying on gravity. We're pressing those heels down, counting to 5, and then resting. We're going to do this several times, and you should really feel your hip rotators and glutes working. Don't let your pelvis lift up, and make sure that both heels are pressing down equally. And last one. And for our final exercise, we have window wipers. Now this is not a particularly strenuous exercise. In fact, I use it to relax after I've been working out the hips. In your frog position, you're going to lift one heel up while the other presses down, and then we alternate, a bit like the window wipers on a car. So this is just going to release any tension in the hips after all the workouts that we've been doing today. And not only does it encourage hip mobility and range, it should feel really nice too. And to finish off this video, I wanted to include a few stretches I'd really recommend. We're going to do a hip flexor stretch. So finding your lunge position, you're going to place your hands either side of your front foot and then slide your back knee away, checking that your heel is directly below your knee. Up to you if you want to place your hands on your front knee, and then let your hips feel really heavy so we stretch out the hip flexors. Now going up onto demi point and stretching out the back leg. Relax and swap over to the other side. We've worked the hip flexors really hard in this video, so this is an exercise I would really encourage you do after any kind of hip workout. Now going up onto demi point and stretching out the back leg. And to finish off, we're going to look at the 2 tests that we did. So starting off with our butterfly position, just see if your hips feel any more open or if your knees feel any closer to the ground. We're not forcing this stretch, we're just seeing where they fall naturally. And then same with rotating our feet out to first position. Just listen to your body and see if this range of motion feels any easier to when we first started. If you've been doing these exercises for a while and you haven't seen a noticeable difference, then stay tuned for part 2 of this Turnout series, where we look at the different reasons for why you might not be seeing improvement in your turnout. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my Ballet Coach's YouTube membership. See you in the next video.